There are three things in the EB1 journey that's going to silently kill you if you are not aware. I'll give you my story and how these three things almost killed me, and how I see these three things taking a toll on folks who are currently working their way up to that EB1 profile. So, the first killer is what I call indecision. Now, this is what happens when you look into EB1, especially if you have a priority date that's early, that you came to the US around like the 2006, 2007s, and you locked in a priority date. Or maybe I'm talking about 2010 as well. You came around that time, you did what the script asked you to do, you got your master's or your PhD, you got a job in industry or academia, what have you, you did the perm thing, you got a priority date. And because everybody else in your circle was doing the same thing, you thought that, yeah, everybody is backlogged. Everybody seems to just be okay with this infinite wait with EB2. I'll also be okay with this infinite wait of EB2. But something must have happened in your life. What I have seen or observed is either there's going to be some sort of impact that has happened personally to you. So, for example, you got laid off and you had to find that job in 60 days, and you're just tired of that. Like, you don't want to live that way. So, you're looking at some solution that can get you out of that, like 60-day. If things turn sour, I have to go on this journey again and again. That could have impacted your decision to look into an alternate route. Or it could be that one of your friends who you also thought would live in this backlog life suddenly got their green card, and you're like, well, what happened there? How did they pull it off? So that must have like jerked you into action. Or something in the personal front must have happened where maybe your parents back home in India, they got sick, or you have a child, you got pregnant, or you're expecting a baby, and you're like, man, this H1B visa renewal to H1B visa renewal is getting a little challenging. I want to see if there is an alternate route. Whatever it is, you're now looking into EB1. This is where you're going to experience that first killer, and that killer is indecision. Do you want to go for it, or do you not want to go for it? So, that indecision is going to take a huge toll on you. Again, I don't have a solution. I'm just telling you what the three killers are going to be. For me, the solution was making a hard decision. And this is the surprising part. It's never going to happen overnight. It's a simmering decision that's going to happen. So for me, um, for better or for worse, I got my PhD, and all the folks that I was surrounded with were PhDs. And for them, EB1 is just a route that they do. So I knew much earlier that EB1 is going to be something that I have to do at some point. But I did not quite take it seriously up until 2019. And I'll be lying to you if I tell you that I even took it seriously at 2019. 2019 is the time when things became really sour in my workplace, where I knew that I had to get out, and I could not get out because I was on a cap exempt H1B. So I could only go to another cap exempt H1B employer, and I didn't really want to do that. So the only way out was for a qualify for a green card and give myself that flexibility so I could move around. So I knew that was a motivation enough. But then I got scared again, because that's when COVID hit and a lot of budget cuts started happening. So I didn't really want to push my luck with my employer. So I shelved it. But I remember it like yesterday. One of my friends, she posted something on social media, or like something happened where I saw a pop-up from her feed, and I saw that she's talking about a green card, and that kind of jerked me back in action. I'm like, man, what the hell am I doing? Why am I procrastinating? And that pushed me over the edge. So that indecision was eating me alive since 2016 to 2019, and then again between 2019 to 2020. So that's the first thing that you're going to grapple with when you're starting this journey. Should I do it? Should I not do it? And this is dangerous for people who have a priority date around like the 2013 or the 2016, where it is close enough to EB2 where you might be tempted to wait, but far enough from EB1 where you're like, man, do I want to do all of this other random things that people are doing? Like, do I is the juice really worth the squeeze? Like, what if I do all of this and still it's not worth it? Which brings me to the second point, which is, once you get over the hump, and you realize that, man, EB1 is it for me. I have to figure this out. I have good enough reason. My motivation is high. Like Simon Sinek will say, you have a good why. But the second killer that you're going to um, experience in this journey is indirection, which is you don't know which direction to go. Like the only song that comes to my mind, which kind of gets close to indirection, is that Hrithik Roshan song, "Idhar chala main udhar chala, jaane kaha main kidhar chala." Like that's what you're gonna feel. Where you go online and 10,000 pundits are going to have like 10,000 different solutions. Somebody is going to ask you to, oh, yeah, you know what? You have to write a book. So you go and you start like looking at Manning or some other book chapter by IGI Global. And somebody tells you that, oh, now you have to file a patent in the Netherlands when you have not even set foot in the Netherlands. Or somebody else says, oh, now you have to go to Tree Hacks or some other whatever. Or now you have to get a Forbes technology membership. So you really don't know what do you need to do, like which direction are you going to go for, and that brings you back to that indecision phase where you're like, man, I should have just stayed in EB2. Auqat mein rehna chahiye tha. Why did I start doing this at this grown age of 38, 39? Let me just go back to EB2. So it's going to bring you back to indecision. So indirection is going to be the second killer. If you don't have clarity where you're going to move or how you're going to move or what you need to do and you're not sure of that, that's going to pump your brakes really fast in EB1. And the third thing, after you have gotten over the hump of indecision, after you've gotten over the hump of indirection, even if you're very sure that you need to get EB1 done and you're very sure how you're going to do it, the third killer is the most dangerous of the lot, and that is inconsistency. You have to stay consistent in doing the right things. And I have seen this firsthand, how diabolically difficult this third killer can be, because I have seen well-meaning people who do not want to take shortcuts. They want to do the right thing, but their plans get derailed because something happens in life, because their job gets on the line. They get laid off. Now it's survival versus having an EB1. Like, what are you going to do getting an EB1 when you get fired and you cannot even find a job in 60 days and you have to go out of the country? Or your job, even if it's secure, gets really taxing, where it's like fire drill days every single day. You want to do things in EB1, but you just can't. That kills that consistency. Or maybe your parents are visiting from India, or maybe you have a child coming along in the way. All of these things, as much as you want to do EB1, will stop you in your tracks. So you want to be very, very careful of these three killers that very much happen to everybody in their EB1 journey. So first of all, indecision. Next is indirection. And the last one is inconsistency. How do you get over these killers? I wish I had a one stop solution for you, but I'll tell you what I did and what worked for me. The first one, which is indecision, I had to accept the fact that for me, with a priority date of 2016, EB2 is never going to work out for me. So it was either EB1 or me being at peace with the fact that I'm going to live on an H1B for the rest of my life. That's what it came down for. And my workplace had become toxic enough for me to rule out option two. So EB1 was the only option that was left for me. Number two, indirection. I feel this. But then I talked with enough people and I figured out what would be the optimal route for me. And there was a lot of trial and error. That is the reason why the first thing that I do when I work with people nowadays is give them that clear direction that if you are in this field, these are the criteria, these are the things that you must focus on. Now, how you get there, we can figure it out because everybody's profiles are different, but there is a sense of direction. For example, in academia, it's really very straightforward. If you are in academia and if you're doing research, you have to publish papers. Now, how many papers do you have to publish in which impact factor journals? That is up for debate, but your bread and butter is research, so you have to publish or you need to perish. So that sense of direction I had to gather through months of trial and error. But once I had that, I was off to the races. And the third part, that is inconsistency. Now, I don't want to be that person who's like, well, you know what? I was never inconsistent. I very much accept the fact that I was leading a life at that time where I did not have any other obligations but EB1. And what really helped me was the KPIs at my job very much aligned with the KPI of EB1. Because at my job, I was going up for tenure as a professor. And if you have to go for tenure, you have to do pretty much everything that you do for EB1. So it was not an option for me but to stay consistent. So those three things are the antidotes of making sure that these killers of EB1 don't get to you. So when you're starting this journey, make sure that you're making you're committing. And number two, you have a clear roadmap. And number three, break down those big goals of EB1 into daily habits and do something every single day that adds up to the big goal of EB1. I hope this helps.